To be honest, I don't know how to charge this without shooting it.
And I fell. Bounties. But he's dead for right now, so he's gonna leave us alone now.
Alright, well, if I kill you, it's not my fault.
I don't believe that for a minute. Oh, my armistice zone privileges are revoked. No, it looks like I got hit by my own ship when I was getting out of the seat. Another NPC. Yep, he's dead. Oh, no, he ran away. Alright, welcome everybody. I'm DarkHour717, and this is our first episode of State of the Verse. This is a new format that we're going to be doing here to bring you the latest and greatest news of everything around Star Citizen. So we're going to be taking formats from This Week in Star Citizen, Roadmap Roundup, Inside Star Citizen, as well as Star Citizen Live, and bundling all that information into one program for you to catch it all in a shorter format with the things that we find the most interesting. This is going to be a show by backers, for backers, so the opinions that are in here are going to be positive, negative. It's all going to be based on the experiences that we are having in the current patch. Currently, right now, 3.14 is released in live, but it's also running on PTU, which is not uncommon for SIG to do. But hopefully you'll tune in with us each week as we'll have different guests. This week, we're going to be joined by several members of Amarok's Fang to go over a lot of the different things that we've seen in the verse and our personal experiences. And on a regular basis, you'll also see Jay Scale, who is the Amarok's Fang news and info guru, joining us to bring us up to date with some of the latest and greatest information from all those programs that we mentioned. Again, I just do need to reiterate that we have no affiliation with CIG, nor are we sponsored by them, and these opinions are strictly of the speaker themselves and do not reflect that of myself or any other member of the panel. And I hope you guys enjoy this and let us know what you think. We'll also have a way for viewers to send in comments or questions, and we'll be also including in the future a viewer question segment so that you guys can speak to us, let us know what you're curious about, and we'll be able to answer that to the best of our ability. So we're going to get going in on this, and Jay Scale, what's going on, man?
Not much. How are you?
Not bad. How's your weekend going?
Not bad. Kind of slow. Yours?
Not too bad, other than trying to put all this stuff together. Thankfully, with your help, it all came together, thankfully. And that is definitely one great thing about having you guys as part of this, is you guys make it all possible. So thank you to all of you that are here. Also, I want to welcome Potato Chef. He's one of Amarok's Fang's long-term members, and he's actually one of our better rock miners as well as hand mining. We also have PV, who is a longtime org member who specializes in basically bugs. I mean, the guy is always in the testing chat. He's got ties to the Spectrum help desk. If anybody in our org is going to know something about a bug or a workaround or something, it's going to be PV. Of course, we also got Buck, who is a connoisseur of the combat, loves a fully loaded hammerhead as much as he likes a single seat, Hornet. And we'll definitely be speaking with him definitely about some of the new updates with combat, as well as with the new HUD and everything. And we got H3D, who is an avid miner for the org as well, too. And we'll get his opinion on the changes with mining. And if you caught the latest video on mining for 3.14, some of the issues that are going on with it. So I'm sure he'll have some opinions on that. So welcome, guys. It's nice to have you here, and thanks for joining in.
Nice to be here.
It's good to be here.
3.14. It did release, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, and this first episode is probably going to be a little long because we're going over 2 weeks worth of information here. But like I said, PTU is still running almost nearly a daily basis with a new patch. They're testing Xenothreat in it, while they're also running tests for Ninetales in the live universe. They're running both that PTU and the live together, and of course, we're almost up to a double letter on the PTU patches. Now, it wasn't their worst release. It definitely wasn't their best. It's definitely got a number of different bugs in it, and a lot of different people are a little dismayed by different things. Of course, obviously it's an alpha. We're all here to test it. We got the issue council to put those known reports into and everything like that. This is a big patch. I mean, this was definitely long, expected and all that. PV, I gotta go to you, man. We all know about the claim bug, and we're gonna have a clip of possible workaround that here in a second. But what, in your experience and what you're seeing, are you running into that's the most common thing or the most frustrating thing?
The claim bug has always been a problem in Star Citizen. There are times when it is worse. There are times when it is better. And this is one of those times when it is one of the worst of the worst. Other than that, the other big one that people are having troubles with are getting into the verse from the menu.
Now that's that bug they got where launching the menu is crashing it before you even get in, or just the infinite load screens, or both?
Yeah, what they call the infinite load screen, where when you watch the BWN in the display info dialog, all communication coming in to the client from the server just stops.
Yeah, actually, the last two streams we had that.
So I actually have not had the claim bug happen to myself yet, and I came late in the conversation. What is the actual workaround currently for the claim bug? So I know when it does happen to me, because I'm sure it will.
Well, actually, they say they pushed a hotfix to live to keep it from happening. Now, originally they were saying character resets, but as we were talking beforehand, PV mentioned that character reset may not even get initiated for, up to 4 days. PV, you said you found a new workaround that might be able to help with that.
Yeah, before I jump into that detail, we have had a toolbox of workarounds in the help desk for claim bugs in the past like this. Those workarounds just kind of faded out or not really worked in this patch. And in the past, the two that have brought most people back into the game properly were to change regions, claim your ship, store it, and get back into the region that you normally play in, whether that's US or Australia or Europe.
Oh,
and
is that the one that's working now?
It can work under the right circumstances. The other way, of course, when that one didn't work, is we'd send people to the reset.
Yeah.
And the reset has been quite a problem for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and actually, I got a clip here of another workaround that somebody suggested, but recently they did put out a disclaimer on this one that doing this claim bug could possibly result in your ship spawning in with no doors and seats. So you do this one at your own risk.
But what do you need doors for?
Yeah.
I do have a third workaround that I have been playing with the last few days. But this one only works if your ship is stuck at a landing zone. It doesn't work if it's destroyed out in space.
Oh, okay. So if you're at a station or a city or something like that.
Yeah, if your ship shows that it's, say, at CRUL5, but it's unknown. And no matter what other station or landing zone you go to, it refuses to claim. We've all seen this in the recent spell of claim problems, where you click on the claim button when you've got the timer up there, and the timer doesn't advance, and the claim button just keeps cycling. It doesn't change, the button doesn't turn off, it just keeps staying enabled. And I think that's some kind of, timing problem with the server, or, a database flag or something like that, or a lock.
Mm-hmm. And what's the fix that you did?
So if you want to get your ship from a location that's a landing zone and it's unknown, what I did is I rented a ship. And my theory is that because you are using a ship you do not own, this somehow gets past part of this problem. So I use a ship, fly to the landing zone where the ship you want is stuck, and then I'm able to make a claim. I fly that ship out of there and I just leave the rental behind. A $3,400, Aurora does the job.
Huh, interesting. Well, we'll have to get you to throw those notes into our citizenship channel there for everybody to see that. So this is another one again, and I'm hoping I'll try yours tonight, PV, and I'm hoping that definitely will work because I got 2 Harbingers I can't pull out right now, and everybody knows the Harbinger is my favorite ship to fly. That's like my signature in that frostbite paint. But this clip actually is going to show us another way that they found, but again, comes with a warning. You could inadvertently damage your ship with no doors or seats, which is going to make it unflyable because without doors, you can't get in the thing.
So open up your Moby Glass and go to your Vehicle Loadout Manager. And what you want to do is come into the menu here, pick a different ship. So as you can see, the Super Hornet is red. We're going to pick the F7C Hornet here. And I'm going to go click the Super Hornet and then immediately go back to the Hornet. Now this time it didn't work. You're going to need to do this a few times. You're going to be quick with it too, if you can. Like that quick, like that. Okay, so as you can see, what I did was I picked a ship that I can load. Have that as your first ship. Click on the ship you can't load, and then immediately back to the ship you can load. You know, you'll need to do it a bunch of times to make it work, but then you'll see that the F7C Hornet is what's shown up here, but we're looking at the Super Hornet, my Super Hornet here. So now that we've got that up and it's stuck here, we've got the image here, we just need to change a component, just assign something, or assign, doesn't matter what, to be honest, because the sizes and stuff don't show up. So Foxfire, save changes and equip. Okay, that's been saved and equipped. Close this out, and now if we go back to the terminal, click on the Super Hornet here and claim it. We can now claim the ship.
That's basically what they put out there, and I have a feeling that if the effects of that are going to be that people are losing doors and seats, you may start getting a lot of calls about missing doors and seats there, PV.
Got it.
I don't know which is worse, the fact that you can't claim it or the fact that you can't get in it. So, but definitely if you try that one, we've had several org members do that, and actually they got their ship back. It's fine. It's flyable. It's random as to which ones it's affecting. So again, just do it with a air of caution. Aside from that, I mean, there's definitely other bugs. There's a long list on the patch notes, and continuing on the patch notes as they put more out for the updates in the PTU as well too. Of course, we got that distortion weapon bug with how fast you can get a friendly flyer or friendly fire crime stat because of the splash damage on that. Quantum spools are turning on by themselves. This has actually happened myself, and I think Lonesome Echo in the org had it happen. And of course, we talked about that crash immediately after launcher. And actually, you brought this one up, Buck, the Klesher bug. What you got on that?
So, from what I can tell, is I tried to do the gender swap fix. That didn't work. Ended up having to go into a character reset. And when you're doing those character resets, you want to put details in there. That way they know what they need to fix. That was the only thing that I could find that the second I logged back in after the character reset finished, had all my stuff.
The only Klesher bug that I had is when I go up the elevator doors open, and all you're looking down on the top of Klesher.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and actually, was it H3D? You might have brought this up. You want to use the left door.
Yeah, the right one seems to be the bugged one.
Yeah, so I've been habitually going to the left door now. I haven't ran into the issue. I saw somebody post that one on Reddit the other day as well too. But yeah, left door will help that one.
Maybe that's my problem. I never use the right.
See, I always use the right, and I only started using the left after H3D said something about it.
See, that was my problem. I used the right door.
I used the left because you guys were talking about the right door being bugged. The left door got me out, but it spawned me in the bed at Everest Harbor, and then I had the Moby Glass problem.
That's the bug that I had.
Yeah,
I had to do a gender swap to get my character out of the bed, and then once I was out of the bed, I had nothing, no armor, no clothes, no Moby. Had to do a character reset.
Yeah, and of course, you know, like I mentioned on the streams, other bugs, you know, we've definitely seen the infinite load screen. The last 2 streams we did, I got in like 20-30 minutes late because going through 3 or 4 infinite load screens and either getting to the point where deleting the user file took care of it or going into Arena Commander took care of it. I don't think that we've gone a patch without something causing an infinite load screen. So I think it's going to be like the 30Ks. It's just something that's always going to be there that we'll have to deal with from time to time.
Yeah, it's the 30Ks that cause most of these load screen problems.
Any other bugs that you guys are seeing? I know in the video I talked about the mining bugs with doing asteroid mining with the laser not having any effect on the rock and unscannable rocks.
Yeah, I've come across a couple bugs rock mining. I've been finding gems buried under piles of just terrain. They're completely desynced into the terrain. They scan, you can see them, they come up as the yellow outline, but when you get up close to them, they're definitely buried.
Yeah. Have you tried shooting the laser down on them, see if it has any effect?
Yes, I have, and it just you can't penetrate through the surface of the ground, but the scanner and like what you can see will penetrate. And then another thing that I've been noticing is that the gems, you have to be under 750 meters away from them for them to show up on the scanners, no matter like how slow or fast you go. They do not want to pop up at all.
I noticed that when I was prospector mining, is that I'm seeing far less of the gems pop up as I'm going.
Yep. But the regular like prospector or mole minables, man, you are surrounded by those. They are everywhere.
Yeah, they definitely are. Anybody else having anything big as far as bugs going on?
Just desync.
I don't think we're ever going to get rid of desync.
Well, I mean, it's improved a lot. Like where it was
it
when it
has.
first started.
I agree. It has improved.
Yeah, and I know last weekend or earlier in the week they were testing that in PTU with the Xenothreat, with the desync issues with that, and the first one we did, I think there was definitely an improvement. The second one we did, I think it was just as bad as ever. So be curious to see what's going on with that. So
combat I did today seemed to work well.
Did you? All right. Yeah, because actually this weekend they're running Xenothreat on PTU again, and they're running Ninetales out in the Liveverse. And actually with the Ninetales, J-Skill, I know you brought this one to my attention, the inability to sell. Well, inability to obtain, then again, the ability to sell the med supplies when you get to stations, and it's again random. It's not every time, because when I did Ninetales, I was able to sell no problem. And I know you said it was CRUL5 that you and some other org members were having an issue with.
That seems to be the one, L5.
Is that the one you guys are getting reports on constantly?
Every time for me that Ninetales cycles over to CRUL5, I cannot sell there.
All right, well, I guess we won't do Ninetales if it's over there at CRUL5 then. Nothing worse than not being able to complete that thing. I mean, it was bad enough I didn't get to complete because I accidentally shot somebody, but...
Well, and the space, the space around CRUL5 when you're on approach, it also has the like the ghost asteroids that cause the flashing on your screen.
Oh, yep.
Passing through.
Oh, that was that station that I had that issue with, wasn't it?
Yeah, yep.
It was like a lightning storm across my screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
L5 has a long history of having unique problems in the game.
It's the cursed station, I guess.
I love that station.
I don't get out there all that often. So, all right, well, definitely some things to keep in mind there, and you know, as always, check those patch notes. You'll see a long list of the bugs, and of course, if you guys get any bugs, and this is for all the viewers, because everybody in the org I know is very aware of it. Issue council, issue council, issue council. Get your reports in, verify, and reproduce those reports, because if they go in and they don't get reproduced or verified, they're going to fall off and they're not going to get the attention. And of course, to bring something to a higher level to get attention to it, it's going to take contributions and replication within the existing reports. And in most cases, something you experience has a report in there already. So check those previous reports so that you can help, increase the visibility of those. So again, getting back to 3.14 now, the new stuff. There's a lot of new stuff with 3.14. I walked in on PTU and I was absolutely blown away by Orison. I could not believe how gorgeous it was. And it was breathtaking. I think they did an amazing job with that. What's your impression of it now that you've had the ability to get off planet and no longer have to fly 750,000 meters away and be able to get back and forth to it without going through the planet? What's your thoughts?
I'll go first. I definitely think it's beautiful, but what is there to do there? There's a complete lack of vendors. I understand it's just the first iteration of it, but I would have preferred if they waited till they had a couple more vendors. I would have loved to see the Crusader showroom been in there, but it looks outstanding. I haven't been back. I get stuck there every once in a while, but I choose not to go there.
I now know who's going to get all the hate mail from this episode.
That's fine. You can send it to me. It's Potato Chef at Discord.
Don't ever recommend they wait. That will start the fire and the pitchforks coming out. and of course, you got a good point. There is more coming in 3.15. So it is the first iteration, but yeah. It is a little lacking at first, but I mean, the visuals are amazing. The fact that, all those container ships that are going around the station, you can fly up and land on them and take a cruise around. And it'll be interesting to see the more that they do bring in. But
and there's only so many medical carts that you can push down the stairs.
That's why you got to start taking the O2 carts.
Oh, okay.
I want to find out if I get an O2 cart onto my Harbinger, am I going to get oxygen after my Aves or my Paladin helmet will not refuel on oxygen? Can I take a hit off that thing? I'm sick of dying because I suffocate in my own spacesuit.
Yeah, it is pretty, and it's I enjoyed exploring it, but a lot of folks complain about the frame rate still.
Yep. Yeah, I've only got one, actually two comments. One, Microtech came in with nothing to do when it first came in.
Yep.
You couldn't even land there.
Right. Yeah, you could get trespassing fines.
You could fly around the city. That was about it.
Yeah, but hey, at least Orison came in. You can actually walk around it and do things.
Yeah.
The other is, it actually is what prompted me to go look for another 3090. The 2080 Super just wasn't liking it.
So we also got the Connie Taurus, and this has actually been a ship that's been out there available on the Pledge Store for a long time. I've been in almost 2 years, and the Taurus was available when I got in. And of course, it's one of the RSI constellation lineup of, the Phoenix, the Andromeda, the Aquila, obviously the Emerald, and the Taurus is going to be that cargo variation of it. And this is going to be a short look at it that they put out from CIG.
They say that some things just don't go out of style. That the true classics never die.
I will say this for SIG, I love their commercials.
Touring, exploration, combat, and now introducing long-haul freight. The all-new Roberts Space Industries Constellation Taurus still does it all.
I know right now Buck's first thought is, how big of a gun can I throw on that, and is it going to fight well? even though it's a cargo ship.
Hey, you'd
But
be surprised what I can do with a cargo ship.
it's got 2 size 5s, 2 size 4s, same as the Andromeda, right?
Correct. It still has that fixed size 5 on the top, which I think they need to. I really would like to see size 5s on the bottom again. Even
Well, I
if it's,
think
once we get our gold standard pass on it and they raise the landing gear up a foot, we should be good.
Yeah, I was going to say the reason that those went 4 was because of the landing gear, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, if they extend the landing gear a foot, we should be perfectly fine.
Buck subscribes to that whole bigger is better mantra for the ships, which I agree. I want to slap the biggest gun I can on anything. I mean, that's why I put a size 5 on the nose of my Harbinger. I think the Connie Taurus is going to be a well-loved ship. I mean, when you look at the cargo, well, when cargo works, as of course we all know cargo is not working right now, but when cargo is working, you've got, your beginning ships like the, Cutlass Black, you've got, obviously the Nomad for a very small amount, the Core. Then you get into your Freelancers and your Freelancer Max, and even the Mists in some regards, you got a decent amount of cargo space, and of course the MSR. But then you jump up to the Caterpillar, which is a huge jump in cargo capacity, going from the Max, which I think is 122, and then up to 576 with the Caterpillar. So I think this is going to be a nice middle ground. They were saying, what, 190 something cargo capacity on the Taurus?
Yeah, like 196, I think.
Yeah, so it's a bump up from the Max. All right, so right now you're picking up that Connie Taurus for $160, so just a hair over the Max. And it's that middle ground before you go up to the Caterpillar, and it gives you that extra cargo space. Aside from the looks of the ship, I think it's a great ship. I'm not a fan of how the constellations look, but they actually, with 314, it seems like they improved the flight of the ship. I mean, it seems and feels like it flies much better, has a lot less oversteer, and it's a lot smoother. I don't know if you guys notice the same thing.
Yeah, the Connies definitely feel different to me.
It feels pretty much the same as my 600. Those both have very close flight characteristics.
Before 314, it seemed like it had more oversteer, unless it's just my bad piloting, because I know I'm not the greatest pilot. I know either full throttle forward or full throttle back, so usually full throttle back means I'm going to hit something, so, and God knows I've hit plenty.
I was going to say, if there was any oversteering, that's gone now.
Yeah, anybody already picked one up or planning to?
I have one. The other thing I was going to say about it is it's real close in price for the Freelancer Max, but it also has the protected storage in the back where the Parasite fighter goes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Shielded cargo, and then the bottom turret is tractor beam. Once tractor beams on ships are enabled.
Yeah, for the loading and the unloading, and we'll get into that with the cargo refactor. That's going to come in really handy with the way that they're looking to do that. Canvas slice HUD. Now, this is a big one that, from what I've seen, most people love this. What is your guys' take on the new HUD?
I would like to forget that the old one ever existed.
I definitely like the HUD. I think there's a lot more information on it, and the compass is a godsend.
I can tell that it's very much modeled after current aircraft canopies and HUDs.
Yeah, it is. I think I'd like to see some hash marks on the hydrogen and the quantum fuel.
Yeah, that would be nice.
75%, 50%.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. I mean, I think the layout's a lot friendlier, and I like what they did with the afterburner and the boost gauge now. I think actually the boost gauge is more useful because you get a longer burn time, and I think it makes the ship that much more maneuverable. Of course, with the HUD, you also get that missile operator mode. What's your guys' thought on that? Because this one I hear mixed feelings on, because people either love it or they hate it because they constantly rely on firing missiles and guns at the same time.
I think the biggest complaint that I've heard is that you can't shoot missiles and guns at the same time. But I think the upside is somebody when it works, somebody in the co-pilot seat can actually run missiles while the pilot's controlling, the pilot controlled guns.
Yeah, and I know with the retaliators, obviously, it doesn't have any effect on the turrets. And I think that's a good point. And I think that's where multi-crew is going to definitely come in. Much bigger emphasis on that with having those extra spots filled. Of course, as long as you're not trying to quantum, somebody can be sitting in that seat until you have to quantum somewhere, and then, well, they'll probably have to get up and go use the bathroom break while you get to wherever you want to go.
Well, it can cause problems depending on the ship, though, if you have somebody in the co-pilot seat running missile operator mode where the pilot can't target.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the changes, one of the things I end up doing with missile operator mode is while I'm waiting for my guns to charge, I swap over to that, shoot off a missile, and then swap back, and then I'm ready to start firing again.
Any of you guys using the dummy fire?
Oh, yeah.
Accidentally.
Yeah, the dumbfire works really well for bigger ships.
Not on
like the
purpose.
Hammerhead. I said the dumbfire works really well, especially in, say, like the Andromeda. You can just sling four missiles at a time. It works really well, especially when you have a Hammerhead that's popping chaff and flares left and right.
Yeah, I think I'm the only player that's used dumbfire, and I was within, I think, 200 meters of an Idris, and I missed. So I'm still learning. Yeah, you want to see can't hit the broadside of the barn, just watch me fire a dumbfire missile. You'll think it's the glitch where the missiles used to shoot off in completely opposite directions for no reason. No, that's how I'm really shooting. So anybody fighting me is going to be safe, that's for sure.
Well, that does still happen with the torpedoes, I've noticed, where you can have lock and you launch the torpedo and it just kind of goes on its own way.
Yeah, if you queue a second torpedo, say like in the Retaliator or the Eclipse, if you queue a second torpedo, the second torpedo does not lock. It's a dumbfire torpedo.
We've all got the capacitors. We've all lost the ability to overclock. And we are now working through F5, F6, F7, and to center everything, F8. I mean, me personally, the capacitors, it's taken a little getting used to. I think I'm getting fairly better at it. I mean, anybody hate it?
Nope.
No, I've loved
No,
it.
I definitely don't hate it.
You're
think
finding it
what-
works well?
What kept it from being hateable is that it actually works.
Yeah, no, that is habit when they put something out there that works, that people tend to like it. So that usually is a pretty a pretty good way to get somebody to like a feature, that's for sure. So.
I definitely have noticed that I have to add power to thrusters when I'm maneuvering right above the surface, like trying to I go in and out of canyons. I need that extra power because it's so much more sluggish when you're using up all your thrust and all your boost just to like keep yourself from hitting the side of a mountain. So you just hit the key a couple times, have a little extra power, and it works. And then swapping out the power plants to make sure that you have plenty of power to begin with is also key.
Yeah, you definitely need that upgrade power plant. I've been throwing the Genoa on the Prospector. I find for me it works best because I've always said the Prospector's not a fighter. So don't worry about your weapons. Worry about how fast you can run. And I've been splitting the power between the shields and the thrusters. And that seemed to help a lot with the low-level flight while trying to scan for minerals. And along that lines, and this is going to be, actually, this is going to cover combat and mining, but the new radar scanning and ping. A lot new features, new interface and everything. I'm actually loving the new one. Mm-hmm. H3D and Potato, what are you guys seeing on the mining side with it?
I like so if you're mining with a prospector or a mole, it must be amazing. I actually haven't been able to pull either of those out yet because I've been just strictly trying to find gems. The prospector and mole, like the minables come up at such a high rate that it's like it's amazing. It almost seems like they've spawned more minables in that area, but then to not be able to find the gems is actually frustrating. And then scanning at night and doing the ping, where you can now get almost like a radar signature of the terrain in front of you. It's almost like having night vision, and just keep like cycling through that ping, and you can definitely see the terrain.
Yeah,
it's pretty nice.
I do love that. I hit less mountains that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, beware though that eventually stops working the longer or the more often you do pings.
Yes.
Well, the other thing I found out with and what it seems to me is when you do the ping and you find a rock, it doesn't fade away after, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and you got to ping again. When you hit it, you got that marker there for an extremely long time. I don't think I've even seen one go away yet. So,
yeah, you also have that white ping, that white marker that flashes right up in front of the HUD, and then it almost like the passive scanning, where your system is scanning for you regardless. So you could go through a rock field and stuff will just pop right up without even having to put out a ping.
Yeah. And Buck, how's it affecting, and PV too, because I know PV you enjoy combat as well. How's it affecting you guys on the combat side?
PV here, I've mostly used it in the Xenothreat, to find the wrecks and the ship that you got to find out in the distance, the supply ship.
Yep.
It's working for those. On the mining side, I find mining asteroids more difficult with the current system than in the past.
Do you? Why is that?
More confusing, more clutter on the screen. You still have the doggone asteroids that don't scan, but you have to approach close to them anyway to find out that they don't scan. In the old system, they would show up as a mineable asteroid icon, but then they wouldn't outline. And you could just fly away from it. You don't even have to approach it. It's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work that way in the current iteration.
Yeah, no, I found that out the other night when I was doing the Prospector video.
The other issue with mining is scanning's way too slow.
Yes, agreed.
Especially subsequent scans. You'll switch
the
mode,
item scans,
and it feels like it's got to rescan it again.
Yes, it doesn't remember.
Yeah, and of course with the mining, also that bug where you could have your mining mode on, and if you even slide a hair off, it's going to take the entire gauge and everything away, and you got to try to move it back to get it back in there. And you're losing that information, as well as if you're in that green close to the red, it could very easily push you through and cause the rock to explode too.
Yep. The other thing we should probably mention is the percentage bug on the scanning itself for minables.
Yes, very correct. I was going to bring that up. Thanks for reminding me. And actually, I put it in that video as well too. I wish I could have 5,000% of Quantanium on a 4,000 mass rock. I don't know how that works.
Nice.
Are we talking the quantum realm here, or is there a black hole inside the rock that's, storing all this stuff? Obviously, if you use the mining mode, it gives you the real percentage. And I found the trick is look, anything that's only in 3-digit percentages, you're not going to be interested in. It's 2%. You're going to want things that are, 1,800 to 6,000%. And that's what you're going to want to be looking for. And that will actually equate out to a decent real percentage. But yeah, that is, I wish.
Yeah, just slide a couple decimal places. It's fine.
And I wish it was that easy, but it doesn't. The numbers just don't correlate.
It's not that easy.
No, I know.
So, but Jaysco, what about you? Combat and anything that you're noticing there?
No, I haven't had a chance to fly as much. I did a bunch of Xenothreat with you guys, but I haven't done a lot on my own right now. So,
Yeah.
the biggest challenge for me for the scanning and the pinging and like missile operator mode has been the key bindings. One of the things that we didn't mention is that they introduced a whole bunch of new key bindings. So even the keyboard stuff, if you have that memorized, you've got to figure that stuff out again.
Yeah, and actually, mining, you're activate scanning, your active pinging, your active scanning, where you're getting the quantities on the rock, and that's all changed. I think mining mode was the only thing that changed as far as the keyboard. Your tab is now your active ping. Your active scanning is V, I believe. No, activate scanning is V. Your active scanning is well, damn, I can't remember. Watch the video, everybody. It's in there. This is why I like Hostess. I have buttons. I just have to remember how far my thumb needs to move.
The nice thing about this patch is they brought in the T16000 for the game. Like, you don't have to go in and do all that to set it up. You can just go in there and click T16000, set your joysticks up, and go in and remap your buttons.
Yeah, if you're using those Thrustmaster sticks, definitely, because I know that's very helpful. When I had the Logitech sticks, it was easy to just go in there, set that, and make small changes to what I want to make changes to.
One other nice thing about ping is you don't have to be in a specific mode to do it, which has helped out tremendously.
Yes, that does definitely help.
The combat side of it is, if you're doing, say, PvE bounty hunting, PvP bounty hunting, it really plays a role in this patch of the EM signature and IR signature. I mean, if you're flying, say, a Saber, and you've got that thing kitted out with military components, they're going to see you. You're not going to be able to ping them or catch them on radar till you're right up on them. And it's almost every ship you go find. Even the hammerheads won't show up till about 5,000 meters. It really depends on what you're doing. I don't know if it's they're just not showing up until you get within that 5,000 range or what.
Well, we did notice that in one of the Xenothreats that we just did was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, where we had some players decide to start attacking the folks that were running cargo, and they get out a certain distance and they disappear. And I noticed it was around the 5-6 kilometer range. Once they got out there, they would fall off your radar until you got closer.
Oh, and that's I think I probably experienced that also, because when we got into like the first Xenothreats that they were doing testing on in PTU, the enemies were just popping in, popping out when they should be well within range. And I think at one point somebody had made the comment that they believed that they taught the AI how to turn their ships off to avoid missiles. And I'll bet you that that's probably just same thing that you guys are talking about.
Yep. Once they get out of a certain range, the game just pretty much says, "Hey, I'm out of radar lock range."
Yeah, but you can still see the blue dot that represents the ship when the red pip disappears.
Yep. And I like that the blue and red ships, they're flashing in the distance when they're under attack instead of just looking for these little bullets flying around.
So we're talking about combat. That brings us to the weapon loadout. And obviously we have, with the capacitors, new limitations, or what some people are calling nerfing. I think that to some degree it's a little bit different level of immersion. You can't realistically expect to have an energy weapon and be able to infinitely fire and never run low on power or anything. So I think that's definitely an interesting part that they put in, and it adds to the realism of it. Though I will say I'm a little disappointed on some of the ballistic ammo counts, because I've actually gotten away from ballistic because I just run out too quickly, and probably because I'm a horrible shot. But it'd be nice to see them bump that up a little bit. And obviously we all know this is the first iteration of it, and we will see changes. So this is not set in stone as to how it's going to be. But how have you guys been handling that?
Let me. I've actually got Urkel pulled up right here. It just depends on. It'll be really nice when we can change out capacitors later on down the road to add to that ammo count. But like a Revenant right now, let's see, Revenant size 4 Revenant, you're looking at 240 rounds.
That's a joke.
For a Gatling gun, that is bad.
But yeah, and your what is it? 1032 DPS.
Yeah.
Can't even take down a warlock with that.
No.
PvE. You can bust the shields with the other guns, but by the time you just use your Revenant, it's out of ammo before the ship's even dead. Definitely need to see a little bit. I would like to see, if we're going to keep this lower ammo count, they definitely need to boost the numbers up on something like that.
Yeah, I mean, no 6-barrel Gatling gun or any Gatling gun whatsoever should only have 200 rounds. That's like a hiccup. I mean, could you imagine an A10 going in with only 250 rounds?
Yeah, or even like Like I love planes. I love the realistic stuff in games like this. Even like an F-18. I mean, it's still 300 to 400 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Tomcat, 300 to 400 rounds.
Yep.
Definitely need to boost that up. I would like to see those numbers up just a little if they're going to keep the damage numbers what they have now.
Yeah. I mean, I've pretty much strictly gone over to energy weapons just to make sure I can stay in a fight.
Now cannons, on the other hand, like the size 5 cannons,
Mm-hmm.
the ballistic cannons, they do a pretty good job.
They do. I like the M7A.
The energy M7A is amazing. I mean, it does that's what I run on the top of my Connie.
Yeah, I've been putting that on the nose of my Harbinger when I can fly it.
I mean, but like deadbolts, we'll talk about like size 5 deadbolts. You're looking at 70 rounds, but I mean 70 rounds. If you have 2 of those, that's going to kill a hammerhead. They're definitely emphasizing the size of the weapons you need to take on sub-capital size ships.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely something I like. Back 313 and H3 was with me. He can attest to this. Taking a Hornet with energy weapons and just completely decimating a hammerhead in 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, I mean, you throw a Hornet or a Saber with a couple of attritions and some distortions, and you could have that down in no time.
Exactly.
Which technically should not be possible.
No, not on a Corvette style ship.
No, I mean this, and even just the size difference alone, it makes us feel like we're like me. It makes me feel like I'm some kind of ace pilot, and then I go and fight one of you guys or fight somebody else locking down a station. I'm dead in like 3 seconds, but it gives me a few seconds of satisfaction at least.
I mean, I would like to see the numbers adjusted, especially for your Gatlings. I mean, Gatlings definitely need to have a little bit more. Like I had the Gladius up just a second ago. I was looking over it while you guys were talking. It's just the numbers just aren't there like they were.
Yeah.
You can't take a Gladius and go take on a Harbinger. You're gonna run out of ballistic ammo way before that Harbinger even drops shields.
Yeah, and at that point, you're going to be doing a lot more refilling, and you're going to be a bigger target when you run out of ammo and that ship turns around and comes at you with some attritions or some other type of energy weapon, and you're going to have to just figure out how to run out of there.
Yep, exactly.
The other change I'd like to see him do is put firing mode on every single seat, not just the turrets.
Oh, you mean between the stagger or the sync fire?
Correct.
Yeah, I would love to see a staggered fire on the Connie.
That is one thing I definitely love about the turrets is that stagger fire, and not sure if it really makes a difference, but it looks damn pretty. So, and it sounds good. So, all right, so that's a lot of the changes with the interiors of the ships and the gameplay and all that. We've got 2 events running right now. We mentioned them briefly earlier, Ninetales and Xenothreat. We talked about some of the bugs that are in them. I think with Xenothreat, my biggest complaint is I don't get to see that explosion anymore at the end when we beat it. That it just kind of comes to a climax and then just fizzles because they don't have that explosion in there. But
That's been fixed.
Oh, did they get it fixed finally? Because the last time I played, it still had.
The explosion is even better than it used to be.
Oh, I'll have to get in tonight and check that out.
Yeah, it will pop and pop and pop and pop and do this for a while, and then finally you get the big one.
Oh, awesome. That's amazing. I've been waiting for them to get that done. And of course, we talked about some of the glitches that we've seen with them, with the combat, as well as the Ninetales with the selling and all that. Overall, between the two, I think everybody here's had the chance to play both of them, if I'm correct.
Yes.
I have only been able to play Xenothreat. I think I logged in just as you guys were finishing up.
Oh, the Ninetales?
The other night, yeah.
Okay. And
I've played both.
Yeah, and I know J-Scale's definitely played both. I've been in with him while doing it. Between the two, there's a big difference. Obviously, the first iteration and second iteration that we saw with Xenothreat, it's still one-sided conflict. So, pirates, PvPers, they want to fight for the other side, so they come in and they try to stop us, which, I can understand why. I'm not a PvPer myself, but I can kind of understand where they're coming from, that they want to participate in the event, but they want to play their side of it. And we saw with Ninetales that they're bringing that in now. How do you guys think that's going to affect the event itself when they actually make it possible for these guys to profit, get rewards, get, you know, different things for completing it? And how do you think it's going to overall affect the experience compared to Xenothreat?
Well, PV here, I need to actually see that happen to get their vision. But as a comparison, you might be able to get through Xeno in an hour, maybe. If you have a bunch of good crew, they really know how to haul the goods, and they're quick on the defense and have powerful ships, you can really whip through Xenothreat in a decent amount of time. On the other side, you play Ninetales, and I've seen some of those go for 3.5, 4 hours or more. And that really makes it hard on the weekend warriors.
Yeah, I know H3, you had posted after that one you completed that it was 2.5 hours before you guys got through it. And the one we 30K'd on, I think we were an hour and 15 minutes into it, and it had at least another hour to go.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's pretty hard to keep from 30K'ing when you're playing that long in one event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Another comparison between the two, I think Xenothreat is thought out more. The missions are clear and concise, and you still have to pick up a mission once you complete one, and sometimes not realizing that you had to pick it up. I think Ninetales is worse. We don't know what the delivery amount is, or is that just a bonus mission, even though it starts with that mission?
Yeah, and having to pick up mission updates all through the thing is also very confusing. People think you just move on to the next stage. Xeno is more well thought out, and you really only have to click one more mission to get through the whole thing, and that's at the end.
Yeah.
But in Ninetales, it seems like you have to re-click the mission accepting 2, 3, maybe more times. I found that very confusing. You're suddenly lost. Oh, why does it seem like everything has stopped here? What do I have to do?
Yeah, and I think I got a little confused on it the couple times I played because we actually pre-staged medical supplies before the event started so that we could just go straight there, drop them off to knock that part out. But there's nothing telling you how much it is. And I think H3, you brought up the fact that it seems to really be that you only have to deliver one box.
Yeah.
And
just one unit to get credit.
If you drop off a single unit, you get credit. But the part that confused me is as soon as I drop that off and I go to start doing the PvE part and the combat, all of a sudden I got another mission, secondary mission for dropping off medical supplies again with no quantities. It doesn't say it's mandatory. It doesn't say it's needed for advancement. It gives you no guidance as to, is this just a bonus or is this a vital part of completing this? And J-Scale ran into the problem when he was playing that once the mission starts, you're going to be lucky if you can find a medical supply.
Actually, there's a little bit of a helper there that I discovered just a day or two ago. And that is there's that Ninetales wreck at the beginning. It has medical supplies on it.
Yeah, actually, I think H3 put in the comments that they tried and you couldn't get the commodities off of there.
Rats.
Yeah. Also, it did. I think that just rotates what it was or what it is. The last one I did, that ship had slag on it, not medical supplies.
I think part of the confusion, though, is that Ninetales is supposed to be more of a dynamic event, whereas Xenothreat was more scripted. The way they've described dynamic events happening, with the quantum system, with the AI kind of measuring and detecting activity in certain parts, the USPU feature team video that we're going to talk about in a little bit. They talk about that stuff, and part of what they're trying to do is get these things to trigger automatically when certain conditions are met, like increased pirate activity, whether it's initiated by players or whether it's AI that are amping up. They're saying like Ninetales might see, the AI running Ninetales may see that the time is right to kind of strike and do their thing, and it'll eventually, that's their vision, their goal is for it to strike then, and that might be why we're not getting as clear instructions and being able to move as distinctly through the phases, I guess.
Yeah, because right now it's all launched manually by one of the people at CIG.
Yeah.
I actually think it's scheduled at this point.
It is.
Yeah, it runs twice a day.
I do remember during one of the Nine Tails that there was a message coming down that they had enough medical supplies delivered. So thank you everybody for doing that. And I kept thinking to myself, huh? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that amount? The other thing they could do is come up with a list of items that the station needs to operate. And then they show the supply level, and as they're blockading, those supplies are not getting through. So you've got multiple different supplies that you could bring to help maintain the station.
Overall, I think Nine Tails can be definitely a lot of fun. There's definitely some areas that we need some improvement. I think in comparison to Xenothreat, the ability for people to be able to play the other side is going to improve the event overall. It'll make it harder for me, I know that, because again, I'm not that great with taking on another player. It will also make it to where they're more organized in participating in the event instead of just coming in blind with no kind of guidance as to what they're supposed to do, and they'll be able to get rewards for it. I mean, I think that was their biggest concern, and they wanted to be able to get something for playing the other side, and I think that's great that they did add that. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see how it goes, and with the improvements to the event itself, as well as seeing how the other side operates, it'll be definitely something to keep an eye on. So last thing on this list is Law version 2, or what they call Surrender. And this is just going to be a quick one, because it's just one thing about Surrender in this patch that is irking me, because it's happened to me multiple times in H3D. I know it's happened to you. I think a few other, I think Potato even got affected by it. Ship surrender, you're supposed to be able to come to a dead stop, shut down your ship, surrender, go to Klesher, get a lower sentence, and get out quicker. What actually happens is you shut down your ship, turn it off, go to Klesher, get a 1 to 2 crime stat bump, and an increase in your time for who knows what reason. And I know I'm not the only one, and H3, like I said, I know you done it. Have all you guys all experienced this? I know PV, you don't go to jail often, but you know, that's understandable. Has everybody experienced this, not experienced it? Has anybody actually gotten a reduced sentence at any time?
So, Buck here. Me and Shane were actually running the other night, running ERTs, and we had a Hurston security out there with us. I accidentally radar locked him, got a crime stat, shut my ship off. He arrested me, continued to shoot my ship, blew it up, and I got a level 4 crime stat when it should have been like a level 1 or a level 2.
Yep. Usually I get bumped to a 3.
And this is after I went into Klesher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would happen, you like friendly fire in any of the events, I'd surrender. And with surrender, I'd wake up in Klesher, and I'd immediately see the gauge go from 1 up to 2 or 3. And of course, my times increase with that as well, too. So you show a level 1 when you're in the surrendering process until that black screen comes around. And as soon as you wake up in Klesher, you see it increase.
Sounds like Hurston security.
Hey, maybe this is the first test for, you know, being able to bribe and corrupt politicians and stuff like that.
That'd be fun.
Maybe you're supposed to go to the head guard and offer him some merits or something, so that, yeah. Well, I mean, eventually we are going to see that as part of the law system, is that there are going to be corrupt officers. There's going to be ways to bribe these police officials and all that. So, I mean, these are things that are definitely coming down the line, probably way down the line, but we will eventually see it if their plans go as they expect. It's definitely something for people to be aware of, especially when you're talking about the difference between a 15-minute sentence and an hour and a half. That can make a big difference in somebody's night who's planning to sit down and play. You know, that could just kill the whole night for them. And that's going to conclude the first part of our first episode of State of the Verse. Now, typically this is going to be not split up in the future, as this is our first episode. We want to go back all the way to when 3.14 was launched and everything that we're experiencing. So with everything we had to talk about, we are splitting it into 2 parts. And that portion was talking about the patch and the things we're experiencing in it. Next half of this will also be posted, and that's going to get into the news and everything that we found in Star Citizen Live, Inside Star Citizen, Roadmap Roundup, and things such as that. Hopefully you've enjoyed this first portion of the program, and the second portion will also be posted here for you to check out. Again, leave those comments, let us know what you think, and we will see you in part 2.